When I collapsed at work, the doctors called my parents. They never came. Instead, my sister tagged my name as Sophia Miller. I'm 29 years old, and I live in Seattle, Washington. When I collapsed at my desk, the world just stopped. My coworkers panicked. I remember the sound of the siren and then nothing. Later, the doctors told me my heart had given out. Exhaustion, they called it. Severe stress. They said they called my emergency contacts. My parents, they never came. I woke up 3 days later. The room was white and smelled like chemicals. A machine next to my bed beeped with a steady, lonely rhythm. My arms were bruised from the IVs. I was so tired. I fumbled for my phone, needing to hear a voice I knew. There were no missed calls. No messages, but there was a notification. I was tagged in a photo. I opened it. There they were. My mom, my dad, my sister Marissa. They were at a park, smiling, clinking glasses together under the sun. The caption posted by Marissa read, "A beautiful family day without all the drama." I was the drama. I watched the likes on the photo climb, one after another. My heart monitor just kept beeping. Steady, slow. It didn't climb at all. But before I tell you how everything flipped, like and subscribe, drop a comment. Where are you watching from? At Green Tech Solutions, I was Sophia Miller, the senior architect. But to everyone in the office, I was just the dependable one. If a deadline was moved up, my boss, Mr. Henderson, would say, "Give it to Sophia. She'll get it done." If a client had a crazy new request at 5 p.m. on a Friday, the team would look at me. "Sophia will handle it." I always said yes. I always smiled. I always stayed late. My coworkers thought I was dedicated. They thought I loved the work. They were wrong. I wasn't dependable because I was ambitious. I was dependable because I was desperate. My dependability was survival. My paycheck was not my own. It was a lifeline for 4 other people. My family. First, there was my dad, Robert. He hadn't worked in 7 years. He used to be a project manager for a construction firm, but he got laid off. He never really tried to find another job. He said the market was bad. He said no one wanted a man his age. Now he just managed the house. This meant he sat in the garage, building small, crooked birdhouses and drinking. I called him once on my lunch break. "Hi, Dad, how are you?" "Busy, Sophia, very busy." "This garage won't organize itself." I could hear the television on in the background. "A game show." "That's great, Dad. Listen, did your quarterly bonus come through?" He asked, cutting me off. "It's next week, Dad." Good. "Your mother is worried about the mortgage." The bank sent another letter. He didn't ask about my work. He didn't ask how I was. He just heard the word bonus. My bonus wasn't a reward. It was just a patch to fix a leak. Then there was my mom, Elena. She called herself the caretaker. She spent all day taking care of Dad. This meant she brought him drinks, watched TV with him, and complained about how stressed she was. Her stress was her weapon. She would call me every other day, always when I was in the middle of a difficult design. "Sophia, darling," she would sigh. "I don't mean to bother you." "Hi, Mom, what's wrong?" "Oh, it's nothing. It's just, your father is so worried about the car insurance. It's lapsed. And the grocery store bill? Well, I don't know what we're going to do. I haven't been able to sleep. My nerves are just shot." The guilt would hit me. It was a physical thing, a heavy weight in my stomach. "I'll transfer the money, Mom." "Oh, would you? You are a lifesaver, Sophia. You're the only one we can count on. The only good one." I was the good one. That meant I was the one who paid. Next was my sister, Marissa. Marissa was 26. She was an influencer. This meant she took pictures of herself in new clothes, at expensive restaurants, and on spontaneous trips. My money paid for all of it. Her texts were not requests. They were demands. "Sophie, I need $300. My favorite brand just dropped a new skincare line. It's for my content. I'll pay you back." She never paid me back. When I once very gently suggested she get a part-time job, she acted like I had slapped her. "A job?" she said, horrified. "Sophia, I work 60 hours a week on my brand. Do you know how hard it is to get the perfect lighting? You just don't understand my life." I didn't, but I paid for it. Finally, there was Peyton, my brother. He was 24. He was the quiet borrower. Peyton was always finding himself. He was always enrolled in some new online course. Last month, it was Introduction to Data Science. This month, it was Mastering Graphic Design. These courses were never cheap. He was the only one who said thank you. Hey, Saf, thanks for the rent money. This new course is amazing. I think this is really going to be the one. His thanks just made me feel worse. It made the transaction feel real. But his thank you didn't change the fact that the money was gone. My apartment in Seattle was small. My couch came from a thrift store. My clothes were 5 years old. I ate instant noodles for dinner most nights. I was a senior architect at a top firm, and I was poor because every month on the 15th and the 30th I did the ritual. I would open my banking app. I would look at my paycheck. A good solid number. Then I would start the transfers. Transfer 1, mortgage to Dad. Transfer 2, utilities to Mom. Transfer 3, Marissa's rent to Marissa. Transfer 4, Peyton's school to Peyton. Transfer 5, car insurance to Mom. Transfer 6, groceries to Dad. The list went on and on. By the time I was done, my paycheck was gone. It was just smoke. I kept a tiny bit for my own rent, my own instant noodles. I always labeled my transfers to them as help, but it wasn't help. It was life support. And I was the machine. I would close the app. I would stare at the wall. I could feel myself getting smaller. Every deposit cost me another piece of myself. I was disappearing, and the machine was starting to break. I have one other family member. Grandpa Joe, he's my mother's father. He's nothing like her. He lives in a small cabin in Colorado. He's quiet. He sees things. I hadn't seen him in 2 years. The last time was at a Christmas I paid for. The prime rib, the presents, the plane tickets to fly Marissa home from a content trip in Miami. That night, Grandpa Joe found me on the porch. I was hiding. I was trying to breathe. "You look thin, Sophia," he said. His voice was rough. "I'm just busy, Grandpa. Work is crazy." He sat next to me on the cold step. He didn't look at me. He looked at the street. "You can't audit love, Sophia," he said quietly. "But you'll know when the numbers stop adding up." I stiffened. I felt attacked. "What does that mean?" "It means you're working yourself to death to buy nice things for people who don't even see you. It means you're setting yourself on fire to keep them warm." "They're my family," I whispered. "They're just having a hard time. I have to be loyal. Loyalty is a tree, child. It needs roots on both sides. You're just a branch they're sawing off." I stood up. I was angry. I was angry because I knew he was right. "You don't understand," I said. "I have to go." I went back inside. I went back to the noise. I went back to them praising my cooking, which they hadn't helped with. I refilled their wine glasses. I believed my loyalty would fix everything. If I just gave more, if I just worked harder, one day they would finally see me. One day they would love me back. I didn't listen to Grandpa Joe. I just kept fixing. I kept fixing until my body gave out. The week before I collapsed, the exhaustion was different. It wasn't just, "I'm tired." It was, "I can't feel my hands." My vision would blur at my computer screen. I lived on coffee, black, 6 cups a day. I had a constant, dull headache behind my right eye. I stopped sleeping. I would lie in bed, and my heart would be racing. Not with worry, just racing. Like a car stuck in neutral with the gas pedal floored. Thump, 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 thump. I thought it was the stress. I thought it was the caffeine. I popped ibuprofen like candy. The phone calls got worse. "Sophia, the car made a funny noise." "It needs to go to the shop," Dad said. "Sophia, I have a horrible toothache." "I think I need a root canal," Mom cried. "Sophie, my phone is so old." "The camera is terrible." "I can't work like this," Marissa shouted. I just kept saying, "Okay, I'll handle it. I'll get paid soon." I was at work. It was 10:30 p.m. I was the only one in the office. The building was dark and quiet. I was finishing a render for a new commercial building. My eyes burned. I hadn't eaten dinner. I forgot, my chest felt tight, like a metal band was squeezing it. I thought it was just anxiety. I thought it was hunger. I promised myself I would sleep this weekend. I promised myself I would eat a real meal. I promised myself I would be fine. My phone buzzed on the desk. The screen lit up. A text from Marissa. My heart sank. "Not again. Not tonight." I opened it. "Can you cover my rent?" "It's late. The landlord is threatening to evict me. I promise I'll pay you back. Promise I'll pay you back." The lie was so casual. So easy for her. I felt a sharp, stabbing pain in my chest. It made me gasp. I put my hand over my heart. Thump, 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 too fast. "Just breathe, Sophia," I whispered. I have to fix this. If I don't, she'll be evicted. Mom will call me crying. Dad will call me yelling. It will be my fault. I opened my banking app. My checking account balance was $43.50. I looked at my credit card. Maxed out. I looked at my other credit card. Maxed out. I had one last option. My emergency savings. It was meant for a new apartment. For my life, I had $2,500 in it. Her rent was $1,400. My hands were shaking. I transferred the money. I watched my emergency fund drain away. I typed one word back to her. Sure, I hit send. The pain in my chest eased just a little. I put my head down on my desk. The wood was cool against my forehead. Just for a minute. I just need to rest for 1 minute. The next day I went to work. I had a big presentation. I stood up in the conference room. My boss, Mr. Henderson, was smiling at me. I opened my mouth. The words wouldn't come. My vision tunneled. The faces of my coworkers blurred into spots of color. I heard the metal band in my chest snap tight. I heard someone say my name. Then the world went black. I woke up to a sound. Beep, beep, beep. It was slow, steady. My eyes fluttered open. The light was too bright. It hurt. The smell was wrong. It wasn't my apartment. It was chemicals. Antiseptic. I was in a white room. I looked at my arm. A clear tube was taped to my skin. An IV. I'm in a hospital, I whispered. My throat was dry. My first thought was the presentation. I missed the presentation. Mr. Henderson is going to be angry. My second thought was, my family. Do they know? They must be so worried. A woman in blue scrubs walked in. She had a kind face. Well, hello there, she said, smiling. Welcome back. You gave us all quite a scare. What? What happened? You collapsed at work, sweetie. Your heart just stopped for a bit. Severe arrhythmia caused by exhaustion and extreme stress. You've been here for 3 days. 3 days? Panic seized me. My family. They must be going crazy. My family, I said, trying to sit up. The wires pulled at me. My parents, my sister. Are they here? Do they know? The nurse's smile faded. She got very busy checking my IV bag. We called your emergency contacts, honey. The number listed for Robert and Elena Miller. My parents! Are they outside? Can I see them? She stopped adjusting the bag. She looked at me with an expression I couldn't understand. It was pity. No, honey. No one came. The words didn't make sense. What? But you called them? We called them, she said, her voice gentle. Several times. We left messages. She patted my arm. You are very lucky your coworker acted so fast. He started CPR right away. He saved your life. Lucky, not loved. The nurse left the room. I was alone with the beeping machine. Beep, beep, beep. It was a mistake. It had to be. They didn't get the messages. Their phones were off. They were busy. I fumbled for the side table. My purse was there. My phone was inside. I pulled it out. The screen was black. Dead battery. I plugged it into the charger by the bed. I waited. It felt like an hour. Finally, the screen lit up. I held my breath. I was preparing for the flood. 50 missed calls from Mom. 30 texts from Dad. Where are you? The phone finished booting up. I looked at the screen. 0 missed calls. 0 new voicemails. 0 text messages. Nothing. For 3 days I was gone. And no one noticed. A cold, sick feeling spread through my chest. It was worse than the pain before. I didn't understand. I just didn't understand. My thumb moved on its own. A stupid muscle memory habit. I opened Instagram. The app loaded. And there it was. The first post in my feed. It was from Marissa. It was a picture. My mom, my dad, and Marissa. They were at Golden Gardens Park, sitting on a blanket. The sun was setting over the water. They were all holding up glasses of wine. They were smiling. They looked so happy. So perfect. I stared at the photo. My mind couldn't catch up. Then I read the caption. A beautiful family day without all the drama. I checked the post time. Posted 1 day ago. Yesterday. Yesterday I was in this bed. Unconscious. Hooked to machines that were breathing for me. And they were at the park. Having a family day. Without the drama. I was the drama. I looked closer at the photo. My dad was wearing a new jacket. My mom had a new haircut. Marissa's wine glass was expensive. I paid for that jacket. I paid for that haircut. I paid for that wine. The money from my emergency fund. The money I sent while my heart was breaking. It paid for this. This picnic? I scrolled through the comments. OMG, perfect family. So glad you could get away from all the negativity. You guys are goals. My vision blurred. I thought I would cry, but I didn't. I felt nothing. Just cold. The beeping of the heart monitor was the only sound in the room. Beep, beep, beep. I finally understood what Grandpa Joe meant. The numbers didn't add up. I wasn't a daughter. I wasn't a sister. I wasn't part of their family story at all. I was just the funding behind it. I locked my phone. I set it down on the table. I stared at the white ceiling. And I finally understood. No one was coming. I spent the rest of day 3 in a fog. Doctors came in. They used words I didn't know. Tachycardia. Severe malnutrition. Cardiomyopathy. They asked me questions. What is your diet like, Ms. Miller? Instant noodles, I wanted to say. Coffee. I just said, I'm very busy at work. What about your family history? My family is fine, I said. They are very healthy. They looked at me with sympathy. They thought I was a workaholic with no one. They were right, I slept. I slept for 12 hours. It wasn't a restful sleep. It was a dead sleep. The sleep of a body that had given up. I woke up on day 4. The sun was bright, and my phone was screaming. It was vibrating so hard on the bedside table, it sounded like a jackhammer. Bzzzt, bzzzt, bzzzt. It wasn't just one call. It was a storm. My heart pounded. That old familiar panic. They found out. They finally know. They're on their way. They're angry I didn't tell them. I picked up the phone. The screen was a wall of red. 74 missed calls. From Mom, from Dad, from Marissa, from Peyton. They were all from the last hour. My hands were shaking. For one stupid broken second, I felt a rush of relief. They do care. They were just busy. Then a new text message popped up. It was from Dad. My thumb, trembling, pressed it. The message had 5 words. We need you. That was it. Not, where are you? Not, are you alive? Not, we are so worried, please call us. We need you. I stared at the words. Need. Not love. Not miss. Need. I knew exactly what that meant. I looked at the date on my phone's lock screen. It was the 1st of the month. I knew what had happened. The mortgage payment didn't go through. The car insurance bounced. Marissa's real rent payment was due. My automatic transfers didn't happen. They weren't calling because I was in the hospital. They were calling because the ATM was broken. The blood in my veins turned to ice. The phone started ringing again. The screen lit up. Mom. I watched it ring. I could hear her voice in my head. The panic. The anger. Sophia, where is the money? What are you doing? You're ruining us! How can you be so selfish? The old reflex was so strong. My thumb moved to the green accept button. Fix it. Just fix it. Apologize. Send the money. Make the noise stop. Then I saw the other photo. The one in my head. Them, smiling, at the park. Family day without the drama. I was the drama. But I was also the solution. My thumb moved. I pressed the red decline button. It was the loudest sound I had ever heard. The ringing stopped. Silence. A second later, it rang again. Dad. I pressed decline. It rang again. Marissa. I pressed decline. I was breathing hard. My heart was pounding, but it wasn't the sick thump-thump from before. This was different. This was me. My hands were shaking, but I knew what to do. This was a call from reality, and I needed to make a call of my own. I opened my contacts. I scrolled past Dad. I scrolled past Mom. I scrolled past Marissa. I found the name. Grandpa Joe. I pressed the call button. He picked up on the second ring. Sophia? His voice was like gravel and old wood. It was the warmest sound in the world. The tears finally came. They weren't tears of sadness. They were tears of, I don't know, relief. My voice was a whisper. Grandpa? I'm here, child. What is it? What's wrong? I'm in the hospital. I choked out. I collapsed at work. My heart. There was a sharp, angry intake of breath on his end. What hospital? I'm on my way. Swedish Medical Center. In Seattle. Cherry Hill. I'm in Tacoma. I'll be there in an hour. Don't you move. He was about to hang up. I had to say it. Grandpa? Yes, Sophia? You were right, I whispered. I audited the love. The numbers, they don't add up. There was a long, heavy silence on the line. I know, child. he said. His voice was full of a sadness so deep it hurt. I've always known. They're calling me, I said, as my phone lit up with another call from Dad. They're calling because the money stopped. Don't you answer, he ordered. Don't you say a word. I'm coming. We're going to fix the math. Okay. I'll be there soon, Sophia. Just hold on. He hung up. My phone buzzed again. A new text. From Mom. Sophia Miller. You answer this phone right now. You are a horrible, ungrateful daughter. I looked at the message. I felt nothing. The rage was gone. The guilt was gone. It was just noise from a broken machine. I turned my phone off. I dropped it into the drawer of the bedside table. I closed my eyes. The room was quiet. Just the slow, steady beat of my own heart. And for the first time in my entire life, I waited for someone who was actually coming to save me. An hour later, the door to my hospital room pushed open. I thought it would be a nurse. I thought it would be a doctor. It was him. Grandpa Joe looked older than I remembered. His face was a map of deep lines. His hair was white, not gray. He wore an old flannel jacket and work boots. He looked solid. He looked real. He walked to my bed. He didn't say, "Are you okay?" He could see I wasn't. He looked at the IV in my arm. He looked at the heart monitor, beeping its slow, steady rhythm. I saw a flash of anger in his eyes. It was a cold, hard anger. It wasn't at me. It was for me. He pulled the plastic visitor's chair close to the bed. It scraped the floor. The sound was loud in the quiet room. He sat down. He just looked at me. "I'm here, child," he said. His voice was like gravel. "They're not," I whispered. "I know." The phone in the drawer buzzed. A text, then another. A muffled, angry vibration. Grandpa Joe's eyes went to the drawer. "Where is it?" I pointed. He opened the drawer and took out my phone. He turned it on. The screen lit up with a storm. Texts, voicemails, missed calls. A wall of red. He read the last text from my mother. The one calling me a horrible, ungrateful daughter. His face didn't change. He just read it. Then he looked at the Instagram post. The smiling picture. The picnic. His thumb scrolled through the comments. Then he set the phone face down on the table. "I need your laptop," he said. "And I need your bank password." "Grandpa, I don't know." "I'm not here to judge you, Sophia. I'm here to fix the math. I need the numbers." A nurse came in. She saw him and smiled. "Oh, you must be her father. We're so glad you're here." "She's been all... I'm her grandfather," he said, voice flat. "And she won't be alone again." The nurse's smile faltered. She checked my vitals and left quickly. Grandpa Joe took my laptop from my bag. He plugged it in. He opened it. "The password," he said again. I told him. He logged in. He went straight to my bank's website. He logged in. And the audit began. He didn't need to ask me. The evidence was all there. My bank statements. My transfer history. My credit card bills. He sorted them by recipient. He didn't just look at the last month. He went back 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. He sat there for an hour, just reading. The only sounds were the click of the trackpad and the beep, beep, beep of my heart. I wanted to explain. I wanted to say, Mom was sick that month. Or, Dad's car broke down. Or, Marissa promised she'd pay me back. But I didn't. In the white, sterile light of the hospital room, all the excuses sounded like lies. They were lies. Finally, he closed the laptop. He just sat there. He rubbed his face with one hand. He looked so tired. He turned to me. "You've given them, in the last 5 years, you've given them over $200,000. I flinched. I had never added it up. I was too afraid. $200,000. The words hung in the air. I'm a senior architect, I whispered. "I make good money." "You made good money," he corrected me. "You have $43 in your checking account. You have $1,500 in savings, which you sent to Marissa 2 days before your heart stopped. Your credit cards are maxed. You have nothing." Tears burned in my eyes. I was just trying to help. No, help is when you throw a rope to someone who is drowning. You were throwing them your own lungs. He leaned forward. "Let me read you the evidence, Sophia, like a crime." He opened the laptop again. "Robert Miller, your father. He hasn't had a job in 7 years. But he's received $2,500 a month for mortgage. He's received $400 a month for utilities. He's received, last month, $700 for garage supplies. Birdhouses, Sophia? $700? I said nothing. "Elena Miller, your mother. She gets $300 a month for car insurance. On a car you paid for. She gets $200 for a dental emergency. She gets $800 a month in grocery money for 2 people. Where does it go, child? I don't know. Peyton Miller. Your brother. $900 a month for rent, $1,000 every few months for a new course that he never finishes. He's the quiet one. He just takes. He says thank you, I whispered. A thank you isn't worth $900, he said. And then, Marissa. His voice was different now. It was hard. Marissa. How $400 for rent? $300 for a skincare line. $800 for a content trip. $500 for a phone upgrade. And the night before you collapsed, she asked for another $400, and you sent it. You sent her your last dollar. She said she'd be evicted. She wasn't going to be evicted. She was at a picnic. She was drinking wine. He pointed to the phone. She was having a family day without the drama. The truth of it hit me. You're right, I said. My voice was dead. He closed the laptop. You thought it was love, he said. His voice was softer now. I did. I just wanted them to love you back. I nodded. This isn't love, Sophia. This is obligation. They believe you are obligated to give them your life. You believe you are obligated to die for them. He stood up. He walked to the window. They thought it was obligation. You thought it was love. That's different math. And it was always going to break you. He turned back to me. Your heart didn't give out from exhaustion, child. It gave out from the math. My phone buzzed again. Angrier this time. Grandpa Joe looked at it. It's time to close the bank, Sophia. The next morning, I was a different person. I was weak. I was tired. But I was not the same. The fog of guilt was gone. In its place was a cold, hard clarity. Grandpa Joe arrived at 9 a.m. He brought me a cup of black coffee. Real coffee. Not the hospital mud. He sat down. Are you ready? He asked. I nodded. He handed me my laptop. You have to be the one to do it. I opened it. I logged into my bank. My hands were shaking. Not from fear, from, I don't know, power. I went to the automatic payments page. It was a long list. It was my whole life. The first one was at the top. Recipient, Robert Miller. Amount, 2500's date, 1st of every month. Nickname, mortgage. My finger hovered over the delete button. This was it. The first cut. If I did this, my father might lose the house I grew up in. I looked at Grandpa Joe. He just nodded. Slowly. Press it, child. I thought of my dad in his garage. I thought of his text. We need you. I thought of the picnic. I clicked delete. A box popped up. Are you sure you want to cancel this scheduled payment? And my voice was a whisper. I'm sure. I clicked confirm. The line item vanished. A jolt went through me. It was done. I felt lighter. I moved to the next one. Recipient, Elena Miller. Amount, $400. Date, 1st of every month. Nickname, utilities. Click, confirm, gone. Recipient, Elena Miller. Amount, $300. Date, 5th of every month. Nickname, car insurance. Click, confirm, gone. Recipient, Peyton Miller. Amount, $900. Date, 1st of every month. Nickname, Peyton's rent. Click, confirm, gone. One by one, I erased my family. I erased 10 years of my life. I cut every cord. When I was done, the scheduled payments page was empty. It just said, you have no scheduled payments. I started to cry. Quietly. Good, Grandpa Joe said. That's done. Now, the apps. I picked up my phone. I opened my Venmo. I went to Marissa's profile. Her smiling, filtered face looked back at me. I tapped block. I went to Peyton's profile. I tapped block. I opened Zelle. I blocked my mother's number. I blocked my father's number. Now, he said. Change your bank password. Something they can't guess. I did. Change your email password. I did. Now turn your phone on. Volume up. Put it on speaker. Grandpa, I can't. I'm too tired. You have to, he said. You have to do this last part. You have to hear it. You have to know what you've done. You have to know it was right. I did as he said. I put the phone on the tray table. It was 10 a.m. By now, the transfers should have arrived. The bank accounts were empty. The silence lasted for 10 minutes. Then the phone rang. The screen lit up. Marissa. It shrieked in the quiet room. My heart hammered. Grandpa Joe just looked at me. Answer it, I pressed the green button. I pressed speaker. Hello? Sophia! What the hell? Marissa's voice was a scream. It was not worried. It was not sad. It was furious. My card just got declined. At a brunch. In front of everyone. Do you know how embarrassing that is? I took a breath. Marissa, I'm in the hospital. I don't care about that. That's your drama. I'm talking about my rent. You sent it to the wrong account, didn't you? You're so stupid sometimes. Fix it. I need you to fix it now. I looked at Grandpa Joe. He was just watching me, waiting. No, I said. The line went silent. What did you say? Marissa's voice was a hiss. I said no. I'm not sending you money, Marissa. Not today. Not ever again. There was a sound, like a gasp. You bitch! You think this is funny? You're ruining my life. Mom, Dad! She's doing it on purpose. She was with them. They were all waiting for the money. Marissa hung up. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely see. Grandpa Joe said nothing. 1 minute later, the phone rang again. Mom, I answered. Sophia, darling? Oh, thank God. Her voice was thick with fake sweetness. It made my stomach turn. Sophia, baby, we were so worried. We just saw your coworker's message. Why didn't you tell us? We would have been right there. The lie was so fast, so easy. We're on our way to the hospital right now, honey. We love you so much. Listen, before we leave, there's been some kind of mistake. There it was. Your father, he's just worried sick. The mortgage payment, it didn't go through. He thinks the bank account is frozen. Can you just call them and fix it, sweetie? We'll be there in an hour. We'll bring you flowers. I closed my eyes. There's no mistake, Mom. What? What do you mean, darling? I stopped the payments. The sweetness vanished. Her voice turned to ice. What did you say? I'm not paying anymore. You ungrateful child? Her voice was low and shaking. After everything we have done for you? After I gave you life? You're destroying this family. Your father is having chest pains. This is your fault. I'm the one in the hospital, Mom. You're always the victim. It's always about you. You are a horrible, selfish person. I hung up. I was crying now. One more, Grandpa Joe said. The phone rang. Dad. I answered. I didn't say anything. You can't just cut us off. His voice was not yelling. It was quiet. It was a threat. Yes, I can, I said. My voice was shaking, but I said it. You have an obligation, Sophia. We are your family. No, you're not. Not anymore. You'll regret this, he growled. I already regret the last 10 years, I said. And I hung up. I turned the phone off. I threw it into the drawer. I fell back against the pillows, gasping. I was exhausted, but I was free. Grandpa Joe took my hand. It was the first time he had touched me. His hand was rough, calloused, warm. The first cut is the deepest, he said. The rest is just cleanup. You did good, child. You did good. I closed my eyes. The beeping of the heart monitor was the only sound. And for the first time, it sounded like peace. I was discharged from the hospital 3 days later. The doctors gave me a long list of rules. No stress. No long hours. Your heart is damaged, Sophia. You have to be gentle. Grandpa Joe handled everything. He signed the papers. He drove me, not to my apartment, but to his small house in Tacoma. You'll stay with me, he said. It wasn't a question. The house was quiet. It smelled like coffee and old books. I wanted to sleep for a year, but my family was not done. They didn't apologize. They didn't beg. They retaliated. When the money didn't come and their calls went to voicemail, they started their war. Marissa struck first. She used the only weapon she had. Her followers. Grandpa Joe made me turn on my phone. You need to see this, he said. He opened Instagram. Marissa was on Instagram Live. Her face filled my screen. She was crying. Mascara was streaming down her face. Her performance was perfect. I don't know what to do, she sobbed. She was in her perfectly decorated apartment. The apartment I paid for. My sister, Sophia, she's had a complete mental breakdown. She's really not well. I stared at the screen. She's lying. Of course she is, Grandpa Joe said. It's all she knows. We're all just so worried about her, Marissa cried to her 50,000 followers. She's cut us all off. She's saying these horrible, crazy things. She's unstable. She needs help. She looked right at the camera. Her eyes were wide. We just love her so much. We just want her to come home. Please, if you know her, tell her we forgive her. My stomach twisted. We forgive her. The comments flooded in. OMG, Marissa, you are so brave to share this. Praying for your family. And for Sophia. Mental illness is so sad. Stay strong. She's telling the world I'm crazy, I whispered. She's not telling them, Grandpa Joe said. She's building an alibi. While Marissa played the public victim, my parents attacked me privately. I had blocked their numbers, but I hadn't blocked their emails. They came in one after another. From Elena Miller. Subject, how dare you? You are destroying this family. Your father is sick with worry. He's in bed. He can't sleep. Peyton is going to be homeless, and it will be your fault. You were always a cold, unfeeling child. You are dead to me. From Robert Miller. Subject, mistake. You are making a big mistake. This isn't over. You will answer for what you've done. The threats. The guilt. The lies. I felt so small. So alone. They're going to win, I said to Grandpa Joe. I showed him the emails. The whole world thinks I'm crazy, and my family thinks I'm a monster. Let them, Grandpa Joe said. He was sipping his coffee. The truth has a way of finding the light, child. Just wait. I didn't have to wait long. My coworker, Sarah, had been trying to reach me. She was the one who found me. The one who did CPR. She saw Marissa's video. And Sarah got angry. She had visited me in the ICU. She had been shocked. She had taken a photo of me, unconscious, with the tubes and the monitors to send to our boss. To show him, this is not just tired. This is serious. Sarah went straight to Marissa's Instagram. She posted a comment. This is a complete lie. I am Sophia's coworker. I was the one who found her. She didn't have a mental breakdown. She had a cardiac arrest from exhaustion. I performed CPR. We called her family for 3 days straight and no one answered. No one came. Marissa deleted the comment in 5 minutes, but she wasn't fast enough. Someone had taken a screenshot. It got sent to one of those Seattle anti-influencer blogs, a page that loves to expose fakes. The next morning, the post went up. It was simple. It was brutal. It was a side-by-side photo. On the left, Marissa's family day without the drama post. The picnic. The sunshine. The smiling faces. The date of the post was clearly visible. On the right, Sarah's photo, me, in the hospital bed, looking half dead. Wires and tubes everywhere. The hospital's clock and date were visible in the background. The dates were the same. The caption was simple. While senior architect Sophia Miller was in the ICU after a cardiac arrest, her influencer sister Marissa Miller was posting this. Family day without the drama. Her family was called. They never came. They went to a picnic instead. It was an explosion. It went viral. The same internet that had offered Marissa prayers now turned on her. This is the most disgusting thing I have ever seen. They left her to die and went for wine? That's not drama. That's their sister. She's not mentally ill. She's their victim. People started digging. Wait, look at Marissa's old posts. She's always in designer clothes. But she doesn't have a job. Her sister is an architect at Green Tech. Oh my God, we all know who paid for that picnic. Marissa's world caught on fire. Brands that she worked with started posting, "We are cutting all ties with Marissa Miller." Her follower count dropped by 10,000 in a day. Her comment section was a graveyard. She posted one more video, crying. It's all a misunderstanding. You don't know the whole story. You're ruining my life. But the screenshots were proof. The truth didn't need my voice. It just needed the receipts. I watched it all, numb. Grandpa Joe just poured himself another cup of coffee. Like I said, he mumbled into his mug. Different math. The public backlash didn't make them apologize. It made them desperate. They had lost their money. Now they were losing their reputations. A desperate animal is a dangerous animal. They had no more cards to play, so they tried to take my life. A week later, I was sitting on Grandpa Joe's porch. I was trying to read a book. A car pulled up. A man in a cheap suit got out. Sophia Miller? Yes? He handed me a thick envelope. You've been served. He got back in his car and drove away. My hands were shaking. Grandpa Joe came out. What is it? I opened the envelope. My eyes read the words, but my brain couldn't understand them. Petition for emergency conservatorship. I read it again. Filed by Robert Miller and Elena Miller. They were taking me to court. I read the claims. Due to a severe and sudden mental breakdown, paranoid delusions, inability to manage her own finances, A danger to herself. I felt the world spin. They're trying to take control of me, legally. Of your money, Grandpa Joe corrected me. His voice was cold. I kept reading. Their proof was Marissa's first video, the one where she called me unstable. They were citing my erratic behavior, cutting them off, as a symptom of my illness. They were trying to get a judge to declare me unfit, to give them legal control over my bank accounts, my property, my medical decisions. Me, they're trying to own me, I whispered. I couldn't breathe. Grandpa Joe took the papers from my hand. He read them. He didn't look surprised. He just looked angry. I was hoping they weren't this stupid, he said, but I was ready in case they were. Ready? What do you mean, ready? We have to go to court. They're going to win. No, they're not, he said. He went inside and came back with a folder. The lawyer I brought to the hospital? The day we cut the cords? He wasn't just for moral support, Sophia. He opened the folder. While you were recovering, I had you sign some papers. Do you remember? I vaguely remembered signing things. I thought it was just hospital forms. This, he said, holding up a document, is a durable power of attorney. It names me Joe Nelson as your sole healthcare and financial agent. You signed it the day before they filed their petition. He held up another. And this is the masterstroke. I had you move 100% of your assets, your 401k from GreenTech, your savings, your checking, everything. It's all been transferred into a new irrevocable trust. You are the beneficiary, but I am the trustee. I stared at him. What does that mean? In English, Grandpa? He smiled. It was a thin, cold smile. It means, child, that technically you don't have any assets for them to control. You own nothing. The trust owns it, and I control the trust. Their petition, he said, tapping the court papers, is an attempt to take over an empty box. Oh my God. I already have a lawyer. He's been waiting for this. The next day, our lawyer filed the counter papers. It was a swift, brutal response. Exhibit A. My durable power of attorney, dated and notarized before their petition. Exhibit B. The documents for the irrevocable trust, proving I had no assets in my name. Exhibit C. A sworn 3-page affidavit from my cardiologist. It stated, in no uncertain terms, that my collapse was physical, not mental, that I was of sound and clear mind, and that my condition was a direct result of chronic extreme stress and malnutrition. Exhibit D. The phone records. The 74 missed calls, all clustered after the first of the month, proving their worry was financial, not personal. Procurer. The screenshots of the Instagram post. A judge saw their petition. He saw our response. The hearing was canceled. The case was dismissed. The judge called their petition frivolous, vindictive, and a gross abuse of the court system. He threatened to make them pay our legal fees. Their last-ditch effort was dead. They had no moves left. Marissa, in a final, pathetic act, went online one last time. She posted a long, rambling video, sobbing. My sister is being manipulated. Our grandfather is... He's controlling her. He stole all her money. He's isolating her. She's sick and he won't let us see her. It was her last bullet. It didn't work. Her audience was gone. The only people watching were the ones who knew the truth. The comments were savage. Manipulated? Like you manipulated her for rent money for 2 years? He stole the money? Or he just stopped you from stealing it? You're just mad the ATM is closed for good. Where's the money from, Marissa? Your clothes, your car, your apartment? It's all gone, isn't it? They found her old captions. Living my best life. Posted the same day I sent her 1,000. So blessed to be independent and strong. Posted from the apartment I paid for. My family is everything. Posted from the picnic. The hypocrisy was too much. Her sponsors were gone. Her fans were gone. Her empire wasn't a business. It was a con. And the con was over. The next day she deleted her account. Her page was just gone. And with it, the noise. The calls stopped. The emails stopped. The texts stopped. It was over. The silence was deafening. And it was beautiful. My old life was gone. My cardiologist was clear. You can't go back to that job, Sophia. You can't go back to 80-hour weeks. Your heart won't take it. You need zero stress. You need to start over. My boss, Mr. Henderson, called. He was kind. We're so sorry for what you went through, Sophia. Your job is here when you're ready. I'm not coming back, Mr. Henderson. I understand, he said. He sounded sad. Take care of yourself. I hung up. I had been a senior architect. I had been the dependable one. Now I was just me, and I didn't know who that was. Grandpa Joe made the decision. You're coming home with me. To Colorado. I didn't argue. I went back to my Seattle apartment one last time. Grandpa Joe came with me. The air in the apartment was stale. It was full of ghosts. I looked at my drafting table where I had collapsed. I looked at my closet, full of clothes I wore to impress people. I looked at my couch, where I fell asleep exhausted every night. I didn't want any of it. I took one suitcase. I packed 3 pairs of jeans, 5 t-shirts, a toothbrush, a book. I left my architect's portfolio. I left my awards. I left the high heels. I left the laptop. I left the ghost of Sophia Miller behind. I walked out the door and didn't look back. Grandpa Joe's cabin is small. It's made of dark wood. It sits at the top of a hill, surrounded by pine trees. It smells like coffee and firewood. The only sound is the wind. There are no sirens. No angry phone calls. For the first week, I just slept. I slept 14 hours a day. My body was healing. For the second week, I just sat. I sat on the porch in a rocking chair wrapped in a blanket. I watched the snow fall on the mountains. For the third week, I learned to walk again. Grandpa Joe and I would walk down the long dirt road. At first, I could only go a few hundred feet before my heart pounded and I got dizzy. But every day I went a little farther. I learned to cook. Real food. Not instant noodles. We made vegetable soup. We baked bread. I learned to breathe. The air was so clean. It hurt my lungs at first. My heart monitor was gone, but I could feel my heartbeat. It was different. It wasn't the frantic, panicked thump-thump-thump of my old life. It was a slow, steady, quiet beat. Thump, thump, thump. It was my own. Months passed. The snow melted. It was spring. I was sitting by the fire with Grandpa Joe. I had gained 15 pounds. My cheeks had color. My hair was long. I looked healthy. You broke the cycle, child, he said. He was looking into the fire. I smiled. It was a real smile. It was a little sad, but it was real. It only cost everything, I said. My job, my career, my home, my family, my entire life. Grandpa Joe laughed. It was a low, soft sound. He turned to me. His eyes were clear. That's the discount price. I understood what he meant. Some people pay with their whole lives. They stay. They never get out. I got out. I got a new job. I work part-time. At the local library, I stack books. I check them out. I help people find what they're looking for. It's quiet. I have a new bank account. My small paycheck goes in, and it stays there. There are no automatic transfers. There are no panicked texts. My money is my own. I bought a new pair of hiking boots. This is my quiet revenge. My revenge wasn't a fight. It wasn't a courtroom victory. My revenge is healing. My revenge is a quiet morning. My revenge is a steady heartbeat. My revenge is living. I haven't spoken to them. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know if my dad lost the house. I don't know what happened to Marissa. I don't care. Some people ask me if I've forgiven them. I haven't. I don't know if I ever will. But I found closure. My closure wasn't a loud conversation. It wasn't an apology I knew I'd never get. My closure was a deleted transfer. It was a blocked number. It was a no. Now I wake up to the sun. I make coffee. I sit on my porch and I breathe. No calls, no obligations, just peace. If you've ever had to walk away from the people who were supposed to love you, know this. It's the quietest, hardest thing you will ever do. It will feel like the end of the world. But that silence? It isn't surrender. It isn't weakness. It's survival.